On April 7, 2026, the world faced a threat that seemed to signal the end of a nation. American President Donald Trump issued a final ultimatum. If Iran did not immediately open the Strait of Hormuz, its entire civilization would be destroyed and would never come back. The clock was set for exactly 90 minutes. Global markets froze and embassies began emergency evacuations, preparing for a possible nuclear strike. This wasn't a sudden flare-up. Over 50 days of fighting had already claimed more than 4,000 lives, including over 2,000 in Iran and 13 Americans, all triggered by a naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. The escalation reached a critical point when American and Israeli forces dropped 4 bombs around the perimeter of the Bushehr nuclear power plant, Iran's only functioning nuclear facility. This map shows the potential radius of a direct hit on the facility. Because Bushehr holds tons of nuclear material, a breach would contaminate the water supply of the entire region. It would be a catastrophe worse than Chernobyl, leaving the Gulf with no water, no fish, and no life. When a localized waterway dispute creates an immediate global extinction threat, the systems built to prevent total war have effectively become the primary risk to human survival. Throughout the early stages of the conflict, the White House maintained a posture of total control. Trump publicly claimed America held total air dominance, and the Iranian military was already defeated. That claim was shattered on April 3rd, when Iranian forces successfully shot down an American F-15E Strike Eagle. A weapons systems officer was left trapped behind enemy lines at 7,000 feet. After 24 hours in the mountains, he sent a 3-word radio message: "God is good." To find him before the Iranians did, the CIA launched this deception campaign. They flooded local information networks with fake reports that the Crow had already been rescued, forcing Iranian search teams to abandon their pursuit. With the search teams distracted, Delta Force and Navy SEAL Team 6 operators inserted deep into hostile territory to extract the officer. The fate of a single airman had inverted the geopolitical power dynamic, proving that a micro-level incident on the battlefield could dictate the strategy of a superpower. Following the rescue, the president posted, "We got him," claiming the operation was a total success, with no damage taken. The internal reality was far more costly. During the extraction, Iranian fire hit 2 Black Hawk helicopters and forced the crash of an A-10 Warthog. 2 American transport planes were so badly damaged, they had to be destroyed on the ground to prevent their capture. This military embarrassment fueled the president's subsequent threats to bomb every power plant in Iran. As the 90-minute doomsday clock reached its final moments, the expected strike didn't happen. Instead, both nations announced a sudden 2-week ceasefire. The mediation came through a direct back channel led by Pakistan's army chief, Asim Munir. After Operation Sindoor, Pakistan emerged as the primary broker between the 2 warring powers. The fact that Washington had to rely on a third-party broker to prevent a nuclear exchange revealed the fragility of its supposedly absolute military authority. The peace brokered in Islamabad was temporary and failed to contain the violence to a single front. Within hours of the ceasefire, Israel launched its deadliest bombing of Lebanon, dropping over 100 strikes in a single day. Prime Minister Netanyahu claimed that Lebanon was never part of the treaty, despite statements from Pakistan to the contrary. This scale represents the core friction that eventually collapsed the talks. The U.S. demanded the total dismantling of Iran's nuclear program, while Iran would only agree to a 5-year suspension of its enrichment rights. In a hyper-connected era, a localized ceasefire does not end a war. It merely redirects the violence towards secondary proxy states. The conflict also reached Asia. In India, Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar maintained a posture of diplomatic confidence, dismissing Pakistan's role in the peace talks. The physical reality in the strait was different. Iranian gunboats intercepted and fired on 2 Indian merchant vessels, including a supertanker carrying 2 million barrels of oil. By that weekend, 8 Indian-flagged vessels were blocked, leaving cargo paralyzed and crews in the line of fire. Despite being a recent infrastructure ally of Iran through the Chabahar port, India found its ships under attack and its government forced to beg for American waivers to secure Russian oil. Military neutrality is a meaningless concept if a nation's energy security can be instantly choked by a conflict happening thousands of miles away. The current ceasefire is scheduled to expire on April 22nd. The situation remains volatile. America is attempting to enforce a total naval blockade. Iran is erratic in its handling of oil prices, and Israel has introduced new discriminatory death penalty laws that threaten to further destabilize the region. Modern warfare has become an uncontrollable network failure. A single downed jet in the mountains can trigger a chain reaction that moves from nuclear brinkmanship to a global economic shutdown in a matter of hours.